PMS, property manager systems, or channel managers, and virtually every software which helps this industry work is developed in what we call a permissioned environment, in which they have to ask permission to the OTAs to interact with them. Like if you are a property management system and you want the listings to be updated automatically in Booking, you need to ask permission to Booking. And the same things applies to Airbnb and every other portal and every other software. So this is a silent killer. It's a silent killer of innovation, in the sense that many things which should be easy to do are hard to do. And before any company can try something, they have to ask for access to the APIs, or in generally ask permission to work with them. So that's the first, in my opinion, big problem. Many people don't even try. Innovation often happens in very small startups, maybe a couple of kids with an idea, maybe a couple of kids who are hosts on Airbnb and say, well, this sucks. Why do I have to manually play between Booking and Airbnb? Why do I have to use this slow iCal, etc.? And when they go in the market for solutions, they tend to find solutions which are okay from 3 or 5 apartments up. And in my opinion, the reason is that any company who's offering this service needs to have at least a certain earning per customer, especially because the customer service is expensive. In an open environment, if I could get all the data from the OTAs without asking for permission, maybe there will be many open source or very cheap solutions even for this demographic. So property managers are fine. There are softwares out there, they pay for them, they use them. But another silent killer of innovation affects also the bigger companies. It's really hard to point it out, because what doesn't exist is difficult to be explained. But in a way, we are in the pre-Skype moment in this market, in my opinion. We are calling around, the phone call works. You have to call from, UK to France. It works, you just have to pay, right? So you are paying for a service which later becomes completely free and much better. Phone calls went from being expensive to being video calls for free on WhatsApp or any other platform. So the same thing is going to happen in this market, and the sooner the better. So in that sense, the bigger companies with hundreds of apartments are paying a lot for a too basic service, and they're still dealing with many different softwares to follow the whole flow. And most of this it's due to the fact that all the data is siloed in different companies, and again, especially OTAs are very jealous of the data. They just give you what they want, and they give you if they want it. Another reason the innovation is not going as fast as it could, so making life easier for everybody, is that the data which they give you is given to you by you, I mean a software company, is given to you with no guarantee that you will always have access to all this data. Any day Airbnb could close their APIs or limit them or whatever. So I'm pretty sure that any investment in this space is done a bit more carefully than it should be, because you never know, right? You need to be sure that you have access for the next 10 years to this data, and you are not. So that's another reason. But big money is coming. Big money is coming to this market. I mean, in the property manager systems and channel managers and everything around it, data analytics or whatever. And these big companies are going to appreciate the fact that there is some open access. And open access can be offered only by software and projects like Trips. If we manage to have the whole inventory that the OTAs have, and this inventory is open, it's going to be a feast for them. they're not gonna need to go through these OTAs. They're gonna have a central point of where they gather the data in this open blockchain projects like Trips and potentially others in the future, and everything is gonna change because the OTAs probably are going to they're gonna have to be a bit more open about this. Otherwise, their services won't run as well on them. So there's gonna be kind of a data war, as many other data wars we will see in the future in many other industries. But the main idea I want to communicate today is that we as an industry should fight for our own platform, our own open platform, which is not owned by anyone, where all the data is owned by the people who put this data online. So when you put a listing in Booking or Airbnb or Expedia, the moment you put it on, you lose access, you lose ownership. Okay, nobody can get your data unless the OTA wants. Well, the right thing would be for a channel manager to ask you permission, because this is your data, it's your pictures, it's your description, it's your calendar, it's your prices, and so on. So we need to build something neutral, open, so everybody can build business on top of it. And so it's really worth exploring this way. And we should not really believe too much when companies are going to start saying, "Oh yeah, we opened, we are on the blockchain, everything is fine. Let's now start over. You can trust us, etc." The moment they tell you can trust us is the moment you should stop trusting them, because another important aspect of blockchains is that it's a trustless system. Like when people upload apartments in Trips, there is no way that Trips as a company can stop this data from being online. Okay, there's no way we can hide the calendar. There's no way we can block access to this data, because it doesn't even pass through our hands. It goes straight on the open blockchain. What we do is we build a front end and we try to facilitate the bookings on them. But the data of the listing, the data of the profile belongs to the people who put them on, belongs to the company who uploaded them. Okay? And that's not a promise. This is a fact. It's not in the contract. We will release your data once you leave us, or we will give everybody access to the data. We don't even give access. It's out of our hands. It's on the blockchain. Okay, so what I think is going to happen, and I'm waiting for this moment, is the Skype moment in our industry, when everything gets open and we are going to be able to communicate peer-to-peer for free. Let's see how it goes.